Good morning. Whenever we gather in this sacred space, it is made more sacred by the presence and attention of each and every one of us. Whether we are here in the sanctuary or attending by live stream from places far and near, or viewing sometime in the future, we are here together. I invite us now to turn to the camera and wave to our live streaming friends. Let us take a moment now to greet one another.
Good morning. My name is Liz Lentz, and I am delighted to be your worship associate this morning. Welcome to this morning's worship at the Winchester Unitarian Society, a beacon of liberal religious values in the Mystic Valley. Our story began in 1855 with a little Sunday school that sought to nurture children's innate curiosity and teach a faith built on love, not fear, and on affirmation rather than condemnation. Today, we carry on that legacy by gathering in the spirit of open inquiry and radical inclusion. We welcome all people, regardless of age, ability, religious, socioeconomic, or cultural background, race, immigration status, sexual orientation, or gender identity. In that spirit, whether you are with us in person or joining via live stream, we welcome you with open hearts and gratitude for the gifts you bring. Before we begin worship, we have a few announcements. And for the first announcement, I'd like to invite Marilyn Mullane to come forward.
Good morning. So my plan was to announce a prayer vigil for Maria tomorrow. Maria was the person that we supported in sanctuary at First Parish Bedford for 3 years. This morning I learned that that appointment has been canceled and we don't have a new date yet. As soon as I know, I will let you know. And it's really impossible to know what that means. Thank you.
Secondly, I just want to remind everybody that there will be no religious education this morning. So after the first reflection, we will just have the children go back to their seats and proceed with the service. And lastly, if you're new to our congregation, we'd love to get to know you better. Please take a moment to fill out a visitor card from the pew rack in front of you. It looks like this. And place in the collection plate when we collect the offering later in the service. We look forward to connecting with you. Now, let us open our hearts and minds to the spirit of worship.
Come now, across platforms and practices, to declare with joy our resilience, to proclaim on purpose we have survived the pandemics of our time. We have survived, we are surviving, we have pivoted and we have planned and then replanned, and then thrown all plans to the wind. In this circle we will say without shame, some days we lost our way and our passwords, and we have not always been our best selves. We are learning, and not always quickly, to regroup and remember perfection was never the point. We are here because we long to try again, to promise with people to be partners in this long-haul work of loving and becoming, even while we grieve also the cost, which is not small and lingers in our hearts, and turns only sometimes to rage. Here, let your body tell the truth. Shake free the stories that live in your skin, breathe in your beauty, and breathe out your burdens. Breathe in our beauty, breathe out our burdens. Be here with it all, with all of us, in the freedom of this new day. The storm is passing over, the sun is breaking through. This new day dawns for us all. May Gretchen Haley's words lead us into this sacred time and space. Come, let us worship together.
Our chalice lighting is words from an excerpt from The Risk of Opening by Rosemary Watola Traumer. This is how we stay brave. We keep opening. When the world says, close your eyes, we say, look. When the world says, give up, we say, try. When the world says, turn away, we say, stay. And now our opening hymn this morning is Answering the Call of Love. Jason Shelton wrote his song Standing on the Side of Love in 2004 in response to the national debate about marriage equality. It has been sung by UUs since then and is a very popular hymn. The title was used by the UUA in its advocacy campaign launched in 2009 to help congregations mobilize on behalf of marginalized groups. This phrase held certain power, but also was felt to exclude people with mobility issues. In response to these concerns about ableism, Jason changed the title and words to his song to Answering the Call of Love. We invite you now to rise and sing number 1014 in the Teal hymnal, Answering the Call of Love, marking this important change to the printed music.
It is time for one of my favorite parts of the service, the first reflection. So if there are any children present this morning who want to come forward, or any young at heart who want to join us up here, you're welcome to. So if y'all didn't know, it's school vacation week this week, which is why there's no RE and less kids here. But that's okay, because the first reflection is not just for the young, it's for all of us. Yay. So I have a question, which I'm guessing you might know the answer to also. Do you know a song about an itsy bitsy spider? You do? What is it?
Well, it's like
I'm just singing.
it's
Bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again.
I have a question.
You have a question about the song? Okay, I'll see if I can answer it. Yeah, what's it?
Why does the itsy bitsy spider want to go up the
That is such a great question. I love it. As it turns out, so the question was, why does the itsy bitsy spider want to go up the water spout? And as it turns out, I have an answer for you. Didn't know if, I was always a touch or go whether you're going to have an answer for questions. But I do. So I'm going to tell you, I have a slightly more complicated version of the itsy bitsy spider to share with you. This is sort of my dramatization of a book. My kids have an itsy bitsy spider book that is a dramatization of the story. So here we go. So in this version of the itsy bitsy spider lives in a place that sometimes has really amazing weather. And the itsy bitsy spider has found the perfect place up on top of the house where it wants to live. And this is great when when the weather is lovely and beautiful and it's hot. There are some shady spots up there. Itsy bitsy spider is so happy. But in this place, as in some places in the world, there's a rain season or a monsoon season where it rains all the time. And so the itsy bitsy spider needs to, you have to go down, the itsy bitsy spider needs to go other places to build its web, to get food and all this other stuff, explore the world, not just stay in the same place. So it goes down from the roof, and then it needs to get back up. And during the good weather, that's no problem most of the time. But during the rainy season, it's a big problem. And, I've also wondered myself, why does the itsy bitsy spider need to go up the spout? Why can't it just go up the side of the house, right? It's a good question, right? So in this place, there's some good answers because it's the monsoon season and it's windy when it's raining and itsy bitsy spider gets blown off the side of the house. So it can't just go up that nice trellis there on the side, right? So the water spout is the place that, go ahead, Alison.
Why doesn't it, then why doesn't it cover itself in webs?
Oh, why doesn't it cover itself in webs? You are doing such a good job of leading right into where we're going. So in this version of the story, the itsy bitsy spider tries to go up the water spout and gets washed out. And it's like, well, what can I do? So it decides it's going to take some swimming lessons, and it gets some scuba gear. And it's like, I got this. I'm a better swimmer now. I got my scuba gear, my fins. And it tries to go up the water spout, but the rain is too strong and it washes it out again. And I was like, man, I really thought that was going to work. So then he's like, okay, let me figure out what else I can do. I like technology. I like having gear. Let me see. I'm gonna get suction cups. So it's got lots of suction cups. We just have 2, right? But it's got 8 legs? So it's got 8 suction cups. It's trying to go up the inside of the spout, and still the water's too strong, and it pushes the rain out. So it's really struggling. It's like trying. It's keep going. And finally, it tried a bunch of other things too. We don't have time this morning. It's a resilient spider, right? Resilient spider.
Did it try covering itself in webs?
Sure. It could even have tried covering itself in webs and seeing if that worked, but nothing was working.
Why wasn't it working?
Because the rain was too strong. Everything was.
Then he could go up then he could go up the wall with the...
Yeah, but that's the thing. The water was so strong, even with his webs trying to help webs build his way up. The water kept washing him out of the water spout. But he did finally figure it out. Do you have any ideas how he finally figured it out? What was that?
He waited until the monsoon season ended.
He waited until the monsoon season. Well, that's one strategy, but it didn't get him home every day during monsoon season. Do we have another suggestion out there? Partnership? That certainly could have worked, but this spider lived alone for some reason. That's a really good point. We'll have to add to the story further and ask why he was trying to do it all by himself. But in this story, that's where the itsy bitsy spider is all alone, which is not good, right? We're on board with that. What he figured out was that if he went on the outside of the spout, and the back, where it was protected next to the house, he could climb up the outside of the spout and finally get up there during the rain. What do you think, Olson?
But at my house, so like there is no there like the spout is like
Up against the wall. Yeah. Yeah, in some houses the spouts are right up against the house, but in some houses there's a little bit of a gap between them. So this is one where there was a gap for it to climb on the outside. Yeah, thank goodness. So, there's a couple things about the story that I think are, this version of the Itsy Bitsy Spider story, that I think are really cool. One of them is that the spider did not give up, right? It wanted to get back to its home, and it just kept trying different things until it finally found a way that worked. So the resilience of the spider was really impressive to me in this version of the story. The other thing that I thought was really cool was about what the story says to me about how sometimes we get stuck thinking that there's only one way to do it, even if we don't realize that there's one way, right? The spider kept trying to find its way up inside the spout and did all these things, but really the solution was to go on the outside. So that often happens to us grown-ups sometimes, right? We get stuck into thinking that we are trying all of the different ways in this particular path without thinking outside the box and trying something new and different.
For going up a spout, go down a spout.
Yes, we're like going down instead of up. Yes, exactly. So that is our story for today. It was all about the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Thank you guys for coming forward. All right. We're going to shift gears now into our prayer. So I invite you to get settled into your space. Maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you ground yourself by placing both feet on the floor. Maybe you take a deep breath in and out. Let us reflect together now on these words by Rebecca Savage, titled A Prayerful Meditation for Renewal. Spirit of life, both within and around us, be present to our collective yearning for renewal in this moment. Life has become super lifey these days, with the demands and pressures of jobs and roles, the tugs of the heart of people and places we miss and long for, the ways that when so much is asked of us, we crumble just a little bit more each day under the weight of it all. With soul-crushing, devastating news and updates from around the world and in our own communities, the loved ones in our lives hurting and struggling, the ways that we are hurting and struggling. Spirit of life, we pause to acknowledge the many challenges of life and send love and care within and out in the world. We pause to honor and hold space for the struggles we experience in our bodies and in our spirits, and send love and care to those tender places. We pause to receive the abundant mystery and grace, the power of love that is greater than ourselves to heal and nourish us. We call upon all the transcendent gifts of renewal to be bestowed upon us, for an energizing renewal to fill us in all the ways that serve our lagging spirits when our own resilience wanes. We give thanks and gratitude for the sweetness of renewal so that it may linger in us, be amplified and multiplied towards healing and wholeness. In the name of all that is hopeful and holy, may it be so. You may come forward and light a candle now if you wish. Let us kindle the light.
this morning is Our Roots of Resilience by Kimberly Ann Tomzik Carlson. Feel the gravity of the earth holding you in place. Wiggle your toes as if they were roots. Roots connect you to the earth, lending you strength. Gently sway in the wind, turning your body like a trunk of a tree, leaning this way and that, bending as the air pushes and pulls. What surrounds you may sway you, make you bend and feel unbalanced. Wiggle your toes. Know that your roots can hold you as you grow and learn. A tree is nourished by the soil and water. You are nourished by food the earth grows and the water it provides. You are cared for and loved by many people. Breathe deeply. Still yourself. Know that your roots are strong. Wiggle your roots.
Resilience is life. Life is resilient. Linda Hogan wrote in her book, Dwellings, the following. In Japan, there were wildflowers that grew in the far, cool region of mountains. The bricks of Hiroshima down below were formed of clay from these mountains, and so the walls of the houses and shops held the dormant trumpet flower seeds. But after one group of humans killed another with the explosive power of life's smallest elements split wide apart, the mountain flowers began to grow. Out of the crumbled, burned buildings they sprouted. Out of destruction and bomb heat and the falling of walls, the seeds opened up and grew. What a horrible beauty, the world going its own way, growing without us. But perhaps this too speaks of survival, of hope beyond our time. Life is resilient, plants in particular. We probably have all seen at one time or another, either in person or in pictures on the internet, images of plants growing in the most unlikely places, in a field of snow, in a giant slab of concrete, or coming out of the side of a stone cliff. If you haven't seen one, there is one on the cover of your order of service. One of the basic tenets of resilience is tenacity, a refusal, an unwillingness to give up. We all have that tenacity, that spark of life within us. We may not think we do, we may not often connect with it, but it is there. We fight to live. And if we don't, we are considered to be mentally unwell. We are considered to be needing help. If someone otherwise sound in body has thoughts of committing suicide or attempts to do so, we consider them unwell and we get them help. The normal state of being for us is living, of wanting to live. We may not consider ourselves to be like those plants that grow in extreme places, but we are. Humans fight to live in even the most horrific circumstances. We have that drive within us. Where does that spark come from? We don't need to define it to observe that it's there, or even to feel it within ourselves. Some might call that spark of life God, or love with a capital L. Some might call it biology. But whatever it is, it's there. As our hymn just said, there is a love holding us, holding all. We rest in that love. I have shared with you before Margaret Kipe's prayer titled Prayer for Desert Times. We're going to hear it again right now. She wrote, "The journeys of our lives are never fully charted. There come sometimes to each of us deserts to cross, barren stretches where the green edge on the horizon may be our destination, or an oasis on our way, or a mirage that beckons and will leave us lost. When fear grips the heart or despair bows the head, may we bend as heart and head lead us down to touch the ground beneath our feet and scoop some sand into our hands and receive what the sand would teach us. It holds the warmth of the sun when the sun has left our sight, as it holds the cool of the night when the stars have faded. And hidden among its grains are tiny seeds, at rest and waiting, dormant yet undefeated. Desert flowers, they endure, moistened by our tears and by the rain that comes to end the longest drought. They send down roots and they bloom. Oh, may we believe in those seeds and the seeds within us. May we remember in our dry seasons that we too are desert flowers. Dormant and yet undefeated, we too are desert flowers. Resilience is also a choice. David Paulet wrote the following about the law of the garbage truck. One day, I hopped in a taxi and we took off for the airport. We were driving in the right lane when suddenly a black car jumped out of a parking space right in front of us. My taxi driver slammed on his brakes, skidded, and missed the other car by just inches. The driver of the other car whipped his head around and started yelling at us. My taxi driver just smiled and waved at the guy. And I mean, he was really friendly. So I asked, "Why did you just do that? That guy almost caused us an accident and sent us to the hospital." This is when my driver taught me what I now refer to as the law of the garbage truck. He explained that many people are like garbage trucks. They run around full of garbage, full of frustration, full of anger, full of disappointment and rage. As their garbage piles up, they need a place to dump it, and sometimes they'll dump it on you. Don't take it personally. Just smile, wave, and wish them well, and move on. Don't pick up their garbage and spread it to other people in your life, whether at work or at home or to people you don't even know on the streets. Always remember that grounded people do not let garbage trucks take over their day. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of hard stuff, a lot of awful things. And so it may not feel like it in the face of all that challenge and difficulty, but we do actually have a choice about how we respond to the difficult experiences and difficult things happening in the world. When bad things happen, how do you choose to respond? One of the things that often gets in the way of us making our choice about how to respond is the feelings that come up when difficult things happen. If we try to avoid those feelings, the sadness, the fear, the grief, the dread, the anxiety, it can be hard to impossible to choose how we want to respond. We just are there in the muck. When we repress a feeling or avoid it or deny it, denial is very powerful. When we choose not to feel those difficult feelings, we take our own choice away. Because unfelt feelings don't go away. Feelings demand to be felt. And if we push them away, avoid them, repress them, they still eat away at us, typically at levels below our conscious awareness. And unfelt feelings often rob us of the ability to choose a positive response in the face of difficulty. Resilience is feeling our difficult feelings and then leaning in to the positive ones. Connie Foray writes in the Spiritual Resilience Handbook that spiritual resilience is all about leaning into our positive feelings, about nurturing resilience within ourselves. We've actually been doing this here in Winchester Unitarian Society on Sunday mornings over this past year. Fourier writes about the importance of practicing gratitude, and we explored gratitude in a November service earlier this year. She writes about the importance of nurturing love and joy in our lives. And if you were there, you may recall the service from last spring where we sang, "This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away." Fourier writes about the importance of finding inspiration to help lift our spirits. And we just started our Resources for Resilience project last month by sharing inspirational readings and sacred texts with one another. And she writes about how music is a resource that helps cultivate resilience worldwide. And in next Sunday's service, we'll be doing just that, sharing music with each other that has helped us get through difficult times. So we're doing that together. We are leaning into the positive. Resilience, leaning into the positive, that's a choice. You don't have to do it. When difficult stuff happens, we could let ourselves get dragged down. We could live in the hard feelings. We could lose hope. For some of us, some of these positive feelings, this resilience, may come naturally to us. Or maybe we were very fortunate as kids to be raised in a family where we were taught how to live that way, how to feel that way, how to be that way. Maybe for some of us, these are skills we learned in adulthood. But if these practices, this leaning into positive feelings doesn't come naturally to you, or you didn't teach yourself, it's not too late to learn. You can practice these feelings. You can practice this way of being in the world. As we talked about in that gratitude sermon, you can actually practice gratitude amongst many of these other ways of being. You can practice gratitude even if you're not feeling it in the moment. And practicing gratitude consistently does actually lead to you feeling it. So if you feel like you're in the struggle and you're feeling down in the dumps, you can choose. You can choose to turn to inspirational readings or sacred texts. You can choose to put on music that will uplift your spirit. You can choose to reach out to a friend or family member. You can choose to reach out to someone in this, your spiritual and religious home. Resilience is also taking care of ourselves. People love to say, especially if a kid has had a hard time or a difficult experience, oh, it'll be okay, kids are resilient. And it's true, kids are incredibly resilient. And some of that, how they manage that, does come from their nature, but a significant part of it comes from the nurture we offer them. Because if kids are continuously exposed to harmful circumstances, they actually don't typically just bounce right back. Kids are resilient, in large part because after they've had a difficult experience, we offer them comfort, we take care of them, we help them heal, we show them that safety and goodness still exist in the world. And we can do that for ourselves and for each other. We need to do that for ourselves and for each other. We need to actively show ourselves, okay, there still is goodness in my world. Things at this moment are okay. There's lots of ways you can do that. There's a lot of talk about self-care these days, and indeed taking care of ourselves is important. What works best for each of us is often different, and so hopefully you have managed to figure out what version of self-care helps restore and renew your spirit. And it's a choice. It sounds simple, just take care of yourself, but in the busyness and chaos of modern life, too often we don't take the time we need to restore and renew our spirits. It may, in fact, not feel like a choice as we try to manage all that's going on in our busy lives, but it is. Choosing to take care of yourself amidst all that is difficult is a choice to be resilient. Resilience is also about being empowered. The federal government right now wants us to be afraid. They are waging a terrorist campaign in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and much of Minnesota. Terrorist campaigns aim for exactly that, to terrorize and cause fear. They want the people of Minnesota, and they want all of us to feel afraid and disempowered. Claiming our empowerment, refusing to give in to the fear tactics, refusing to give up our power, helps us be resilient. The good people in Minnesota have refused to give up their power. Here's an excerpt of what that looks like on the ground from an anonymous Facebook post titled, "From a Comrade." One of the nuts things about organizing in the Twin Cities right now is that even the most long-term organizers who've been here for decades can't keep track of all the resistance that is going on. There are so many self-organized crews just doing work that in any conversation with someone from another neighborhood, you might stumble over a whole collective of people resisting in ways you didn't think of. There are somewhere between 80 and 120 organized groups. There's a crew of carpenters just going around fixing kicked-in doors. There are tow truck drivers taking cars of detained people away for free. People delivering food to families in hiding, people standing watch outside daycares and schools. This resistance has been built up through many years and decades of organization. It is also built through day-to-day mutual aid, culture building, workplace and tenant organizing, and simple basic relationship building among neighbors and coworkers here. This is an everyday, practical sort of anarchism, born not of ideology, but of solutions found by people in the course of struggle. Waiting to be led does not make sense. Funneling power and money through a central apparatus the state can target does not make sense. Symbolic actions appealing to a state without a conscience and an opposition party without a spine make no sense. Self-organization, federation, and autonomy make sense. Direct action makes sense. Mutual aid makes sense. The people of the Twin Cities have not given up. They are resilient, they are resisting, and they are doing it without the need for a central organization. They are life. They are not giving up. I was talking with my cousin the other day who lives in Arlington, and he shared with me a practice that they have started doing in their neighborhood just in the past couple of months. They have started getting together just for the sake of singing and getting to know each other and sharing food, specifically because of what's going on in the world right now. Yes, in the grand scheme of things, neighborhood gatherings might not have a huge impact. But also, as we've seen in the Twin Cities, it can. Engaging with our neighbors matters because we are less resilient when we feel alone and more resilient when we feel connected and like other people have our back. Engaging with our neighbors matters practically if ICE were to start doing here in Massachusetts what they're doing in Minnesota. Engaging with our neighbors matters when it helps us know we are not alone in our fear, our anger, and our desire to resist. Whoever pointed out that the story this morning in our first reflection about the itsy bitsy spider, why is he doing it alone? Exactly. The next time I tell that story, I'm probably going to have the itsy bitsy spider figuring out to go up the outside by having a conversation with his neighbors and having someone suggest it, right? It matters. Even small things like being connected to those around us. It makes a difference. And so it may feel as we're listening to or reading all the news about what's happening in Minnesota and other places in our country, like there's nothing we can do. But that's not true. There are things we can do. Like showing up for Maria at the ICE office in Burlington, like we were planning on doing tomorrow morning whenever her appointment is rescheduled. Like attending that protest walk that was held here in Winchester last Saturday, as many of us did. Like connecting with your neighbors and building bonds of connection. You can plug into existing activities, and you can start your own if you want, just simply by knocking on a neighbor's door. Friends, resilience comes in many forms. We have it within us, we can choose it, and we can live it. Times are indeed hard. We have all that we need to make a difference.
Our weekly offering is an opportunity to respond to the abundance we've received, a moment when we transform our gratitude into action and make our values visible. This week, our Share the Plate recipient is International Institute of New England. Details regarding the important work of this organization and how to give are printed in your order of service and will soon appear on screen for online participants. The offering will now be generously given and gratefully received. those who wish to do so are invited to join in the unison affirmation. We gather not for ourselves alone, but to use our common power to build the beloved community within and beyond these walls. We create and reaffirm this covenant this day to make justice flourish, to practice compassion amidst difference, and to embody transformative love. Now, please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, number 95 in the gray hymnal, There Is More Love Somewhere.
Friends, keeping on is what we do. We don't give up. Sometimes we are able to find the resources within ourselves. Sometimes we need to turn to one another. But it is there. Love is there. Goodness is there. And we will find a way to overcome. Go and be blessed and be a blessing.
please join me in saying the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry on our hearts until we are together again. The service is ended, but our life of service continues. Please join us for coffee and conversation in the Sims room.